Alright, so I'm going to work on redoing a hot tub. And we bought this hot tub probably a month ago now and got it all wired up. And the siding was already on there. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But the structure began to come apart on us, and I'll take some siding off to show you a better view. But the frame's beginning to come apart and support's pulling away from the north end of the hot tub. It's starting to sink in a little bit here. And I'm going to redo all the structure. I did a lot of reading online, didn't find a lot of good helpful information, so I'll see if I can maybe give some ideas to people who have to do the same thing and make it an easier process. So I'm taking all this ledge off, and I'm just going to do a vertical piece of 2x4 directly underneath the side of the tank here and straight to the ground, and not have this ledge that seems to want to rotate in and sag. And it should be a lot stronger the way I'll tie it together. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do for the exterior. I've got a couple ideas. So hopefully this helps someone that's trying to efficiently and quickly redo their hot tub. So I've got a bit of a disaster here, but again, it's about exactly what I expected. So it's all rotted away. There's no support in the north side at all, and we're sinking just a little bit to the north. So step one is to build a 2x4 treated plywood or treated frame, and then support the north side. And then I'm going to just do the same thing for the other sides, and then just put a brand new finish on it, and I'll show you what that's going to be. But yeah, starting to come apart. So ripping the siding off, a lot of it's rotted. This was long overdue, and I think this is actually going to come together pretty nice. I'm very excited about how it's coming apart. All right, so she's coming out. Got the whole rotted wall coming off. And we're learning what the structure of this thing looks like, so I know exactly how to rebuild it. And yeah, so there's the north end dismantled. So I got to check the structure of this, see if I like that or not. And I think this is coming off. This may stay. That's rotted. I think that's treated. And I'm going to build a frame that comes to here, and instead of having a 2x4 on its side and protrude out beyond the shell, I'm going to have it vertical and go right up underneath, and then it won't get this rotting and rolling effect that we see here. So I think this is going to come together well. Hopefully this helps. I wish I would have seen a video like this when I got started. So here's what some of the structure looks like. And I will re-insulate this when it's all done, and the panels will be screw-on and easy to remove, all treated. Should be awesome. So coming together. So I'm stripping down the sides of it here. Got part of my, sneak over here, part of my frame ready to be built. And that's going to go in the back. That'll be the first step. So we've got this all trimmed out or cut out, ready to go. It's all measured. And I'm going to get this frame put together, and we'll get it in, and I'll show a video of it before it goes in and then after. All right, so this is the bottom of the support. So it's upside down right now. I'm going to screw 2.5-inch deck screws in there. And for the top, I'm going to use a Craig jig and do pocket screws. So I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so I'm doing the pocket screws right now. And there's the holes for the pocket screws. So I've got one frame built and ready to go up underneath the north side of the hot tub, which is the side that desperately needs to be supported. That might be a bit of a chore wedging it in, but I did pocket screws both on this side and on that side of all of these supports. So that should be nice and durable. And then of course I screwed in from the bottom on that bottom layer, and that lip will sit inside the hot tub frame, and it'll actually overhang in here. So this rail here, that lip will stick inside here. And I'm doing it just for a little more support. Hopefully it becomes a little bit more of a stable unit. and I'm big into overbuilding everything I do. These were the old supports before. Just a little 2x2, and that's all it was. So as much as I'm nervous about that not being strong enough, it's way stronger than this. Okay, so this is not gonna fit unless I raise it up. So I'm gonna jack on the support to try to raise the hot tub up and then just kick the bottom in. So we'll see how that works. They're making contact. This is round 2. The jack tipped out. Hopefully I can raise it up, just kick the bottom in, tap it with a hammer in place and call it good. And then I'll just tie this to the other side here once I build that frame and go all the way around. All right, so with my awesome daughter up on top pushing against that so it doesn't tip out, we got it up on the lip. I've got to tap it with a hammer just to get that to slide flush. But it's on, and it's unbelievably amazing that it's on. It's one of those things that seems so precarious that it'd never work. But yeah, I kept wanting to kick out, so my daughter was pushing on that lever board to hold that jack in, and then I pried up a little bit, and unbelievably, we got it on there. So now we can start working around the hot tub, but that was the rotted zero support side, and now it's supported. All right, the jack is out. We're flush, just tapped it in with a hammer, screwed it down. So this is just supported up on top, just like this side is over here, I suppose. Which makes me nervous to say it out loud. So I've got to build another frame for this side and then tie these two together, and then it'll be as secure as it gets. So I'm pretty excited that's done, and we actually have a real good support in place, and it's a million times better than it was. At this point, if I wanted, I could slap the old boards back on and probably run with what I've got, and it's good enough. But gosh, this is rough looking here. So yeah, a lot better. I'm super pumped. One frame built and in, and it's solid. So I've got the other side ripped off. Here's what's left of the frame. These are just 2x2s here, and you can see that one is doing nothing. Like, this is literally doing all the work. I realize it doesn't rotate, so it's doing all the work over there. But yeah, this frame is for the most part garbage. That's pretty sturdy. So I'm gonna carefully get this out of here, and I'm a little nervous about that part of it, just because, yeah, I don't know, I guess it's not really tying it together. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. So,
they're going to Disney World?
So we've got all the supports removed. I was going to tie a board from this end down here to the support here, and that support ripped off of my hand. So I said, okay, we'll see what happens. It is supported by the west, north, and south end. The east supports are gone. I'm going to build a new frame for that. And so far, it hasn't drooped or anything. So I got to rip off this bottom bar down here, and then this here is hanging by some magical force. We don't know what. Maybe it's attached to the foam, but we'll figure it out. All right, so right now I've got all the trim out, and I'm ready to build the frame. And I think we're gonna just copy that one there and get that sucker rolling. So yeah, it is supported by the east and the north and the south braces, and then the one in the west. And soon this will be a lot better. All right, so I've got two sides of this braced. So that came together beautifully. Again, way stronger. You can see where it was sagging before, and consequently it bent, unfortunately. I think it'll straighten out as we get some water put in there. But I'm gonna put a couple braces and tie these together at an angle. And I think that'll be very strong and much, much stronger than it was. And then I'm gonna work on the front side when I get some more wood, which will be the south side. All right, well, I've got the other side up, that side up, and I've got them tied together so they're all nice and flush. And yeah, now we're a lot more secure, and now I feel much, much better about this build. So now we're not going to come apart, and soon we'll be ready to side it, fill it, and jump in it. So 2 more sides to go, and I got some more wood to buy, so maybe I'm going to put it on pause for today. So this is what was tying the corners together before to keep them from just falling outward. And I guess it was also nailed up in there too now that I found it on the other side. But yeah, this is the last two sides to be done now. And I'm going to rip this siding off here in just a second. Then I'll go to the store, buy some more wood and my siding panels, and hopefully this thing finishes up as nice as I think it's going to. All right, so we've got the west side ripped off. And this was actually fairly strong. It wasn't all rotted. The other ones, a lot of supports ripped right out where they were basically doing nothing. But yeah, so it is ready to get the third frame built. This corner here is 2 inches taller for whatever reason than the rest of the hot tub. In fact, you can almost see the angle up. So we'll drop that down also in the process of replacing the front frame. And this will be way better than it ever was, even brand new. So I've got one more cut. If you notice, this time I ripped that bottom 2x4 because it is going to hit the pipes that go right up against the edge of the frame on the bottom there, or I guess it'd be the base. So I'm going to fit that one in and we'll screw it down, tie the north and the west frames together, and then rip out the south frame, and then almost ready to start doing some siding. So that's going to go right on the east side, and that'll tie in to that north frame right there. And here's the hose that goes right up against that bottom base, so I had to rip that down. So it was a little bit narrower, so it didn't overhang that bottom base rail. So we'll get that installed and then tie it together. I'll get some more video. All right, so I've got the west frame in, and it's 2 millimeters too tall. It should have been 80.4 centimeters, and it was 80.5 centimeters. The gap was 80.3 centimeters. And yes, I'm not using Freedom units. Just as one time, first time in my life. Just seemed to work better. But I used the jack to push it up into the top of the bottom of the shell, and then I just put a board underneath of it to lift up the bottom up over that bottom base rail. And I've got one end screwed down, and I've got to just knock this one over a little bit and screw that in. And the west rail's done. I'm going to tie it to the north rail and then start to work on the south. So hopefully this helps those that are looking to rebuild a hot tub frame. So I just put 1, 2, and 3 screws right in that base rail, or in the bottom of the frame down to the base rail here. And so that's secure on the bottom. We're nice and flush on the top. So over here, I've got to just trim a little bit of insulation back here so that will slide in all the way. So when I do my bracing to tie these two together, this is flush with the side of the hot tub. And that trim was coming off, so I'm probably going to seal it or glue it or whatever, but I just taped it up out of the way for now, just so it wasn't flopping down and getting in the way. But I will put a little caulk on there, probably re-glue that. So yeah, it's coming together nice. And I got my siding over there in the trailer, and we are making some progress. All right, so got the west side all done. So frame is in, got it screwed into the bottom, and then I've got it tied in right there to the north side, and it looks awesome. Really pumped about that. So 3 sides done and tied in, and you guys saw how that was all wedged in. So I'm just going to knock out that south side, move the stairs out of the way, just beat that out. And all of my frames have 3 legs in it, but because that top board, I've got it flipped so it's basically vertical, they've got a double frame here, but I think having that top board vertical, I think it's going to be fine. So I might just do maybe the 2 outside posts, that top board will be vertical across. That should be strong enough, I would think, to support the side, and at least as strong as 2 2x4s laid on the side. So I'll rip this out, show you when it's done, build a frame, and we'll go from there. So I've got most of the south side ripped off. I got to get that ridiculous looking lip ripped off. But yeah, here's the east side. There's the north side, and you can see through. I've got the west side on over there. And last but not least is going to be that south side. So no supports holding up, it's just the east, west, and north side. And again, all the water is out of this hot tub while I'm doing this. All the weight is out of it. So I'm gonna get that lip ripped off, build the frame, probably do it a little bit differently. I don't want that center support in there. But again, that 2x4 being vertical is every bit as strong as two of those 2x4s laying horizontal doubled up. So that will be a lot stronger, or at least as strong anyway, as two 2x4s on their side. So it should be plenty strong to support that side, and at least stronger than it was before. How about that? All right, so I've got this upside down, and I don't know if you wondered how I do the frames, but I screw in from the bottom here. So I flip it upside down, clamp it with my awesome Craig clamps, and then I'll just screw straight down here and here. And I'll actually do 3 screws in each. And I'm going to stagger one pillar. So I'll do the end and 2 foot in, so it's not going to be centered. And you'll see in a second, that way it won't cover the control panel if I have to get to that. That's the electronics and access it to change any of the wiring or do some repairs. So I'll get this done and get it installed, and the last frame will be done. All right, so I've got the pocket hole screws drilled. I drilled 2 wide going straight down, 2 narrow going up. These ones are already in, so I'm gonna do these 2 bottom ones and just kind of show you what that looks like here. So this is the top. I'm trying to do it one-handed while I record. I'm gonna put my foot on it for a little bit of extra stability. And there it is. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 more, and this part of the frame will be done to go right up there, and I'll show you it after it's installed, and I'll get it tied in. All right, so I'm cutting 1.5 inch thick R7.5 insulation to stuff in here before I put the paneling on. I'm not going to do it in the front, only because I don't want that motor to overheat. This is vented, there's no insulation in here, and so we're going to leave this free of insulation. That's all enclosed. There's insulation behind that, but yeah, we don't want that motor to overheat. So we're going to do insulation here in this corner, and then all along the east side, that corner, and then the north side. And hopefully that comes together fast, and then I'll get the siding on hopefully tonight, and then wrap this sucker up. I've got some caulk along that strip there, a little weather strip, and then I'm going to put caulk again once I put the siding on. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. I'm a little on the fence if I like it or not, but it's easy enough to change if I don't. So I've got just one side of it wrapped so far. It goes on easy. It's fairly inexpensive, 40 bucks a 4x8 sheet, which by today's standards is a bargain. It's fungus proof, rot proof. I don't know if they officially call it treated, but it's good for exterior applications. It's considered siding, it's primed. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. All right, so I didn't do a lot of additional video. I just kind of forged ahead and finished it. So this is looking, we're facing southwest here, and I've got the back all done. Let's go around to the front. So I put a couple of vents. I just took my saber saw, cut some holes in there. Got some 3-inch vents from Home Depot and threw a couple of vents in there. I noticed there was a fan. There was a separate compartment. When I had this apart, there was like a plastic barrier in a separate compartment with a fan inside here to draw heat out of the electronics area. But there was nowhere for the heat to escape to, and there was no fresh air to draw it in. So it draws in over there, and I can feel the hot air just pumping out here. That little fan, you can hear it running inside there. But all in all, I'm very happy with the project. I've got it all caulked, and it is done. So much better than it looked before, and way stronger.